Good morning. Thanks for coming. I'm proud that our city is one of the most walkable cities in North America, but we take pride not just in being the most walkable city, we also will do everything we can to make sure that we reduce the number of fatalities and injuries. And certainly we believe, all of us standing up here believe that one pedestrian injury or fatality is just too many and it's unacceptable. That's why in our city we are committed to eliminating fatalities by way of traffic and deaths on our street by 2024, and our Vision Zero program for our city is a commitment to prioritize safe streets, ensure that everyone on our streets, whether you're walking, you're biking, you're driving, or you're riding a bus, that we all want to make sure that you are safe on our roads. Well, it's great to know, and I know Muni's here, that our ridership is at an all-time 5-year high. We know that our city is growing in both residents and jobs, and that means that we have more people that are walking and biking and taking public transportation around our city. Well, the city is continuing to prepare for its growth, and we know that and you know that we are making historic investments in our transportation network, and that investment has reached over $1 billion just this year. We have made investments in our city's infrastructure because we know that transportation infrastructure is equally important to keep Muni reliable and safe. These historic investments allow us to increase that Muni service, and this year we're increasing it by 10%. We've replaced our buses and our light rail vehicles, and we've hired more drivers and cleanup crews, and I believe the public is beginning to notice that because that ridership is up and a lot more confident. We're making Muni more reliable, safer, cleaner, and ready to meet the demands of a growing city and certainly a growing ridership. That is all to say a big thank you to our San Francisco voters because of last year's $500 million general obligation transportation bond. This bond has helped improve the speed and the reliability of Muni, has contributed and will be contributing over $300 million in street safety upgrades that are moving us towards the Vision Zero goals and making everyone more safe. Well, today we join with our Walk SF, our Bicycle Coalition, our transportation, our county transportation authority, certainly our Municipal Transportation Authority, our Vision Zero, as well as our Public Works, our police department, everyone who's working together with me to make sure that when we said almost 2 years ago that we would focus on some 24 projects and get them done, and these represented projects that had been data-driven, and certainly Supervisor Kim knows that well because she led the effort to try to get more data in her district about where the high injury corridors were, such that we would have some priorities in our mission to make sure our streets were safer. That time, 1.5 to 2 years ago, we identified 24 projects, and we said that we would get them done by February of 2016. As a result of every one of these agencies, private and public, working together, I'm glad to announce that all 24 projects have today been completed, well ahead of schedule. Ahead of schedule because we're in a hurry to get more safety out there. And yes, there may be other streets now that are being challenged for different reasons, and we'll get to those. In fact, what this aggressive strategy has allowed us to do is finish up these projects knowing they were data-driven, knowing they reflected the high injury corridors of the city, and knowing that now that we have completed them, we're going to add 6 more data-driven sites to this to be done by the end of February 2016. And we certainly are saying we're not going to stop there. This allows us to say we've got a momentum to identify even more projects with both the supervisors, the resident advocates, the bike advocates, the pedestrian advocates, the senior advocates, and all other organizations that represent those that want safer streets. And we'll work aggressively to do that in a collaboration that I think has been unmet since we started this project. I want to say a big thank you. And I know Supervisor Kim, when she comes up here, she'll say a big thank you as well, because she and I both know that we were standing on the streets of 6th and Minna not too long ago, trying to put and activate a new signal. That was one of the projects. I know Supervisor Wiener and I were together not too long ago at 16th Street and Market, and making sure that improvements were there. Supervisor Tang and I were out together on Sunset Boulevard trying the new stoplights to slow down traffic on Sunset Boulevard. And those are just 3 of the very highlighted ones, in addition to the ones that we've been doing in very congested areas like the Tenderloin. These are to be celebrated because we are absolutely sure, given the data that we worked from, that more lives will be saved as a result of these improvements. So we will complete an additional 6, so that'll be 30 by the end of February, and that some of these additional projects, in addition to the ones that we identified on the 24, some additional ones will include improvements along 2nd Street, Polk Street, Masonic Avenue, and more. We will continue working with all the neighborhood organizations to identify those areas. I know of some already in Chinatown where we've had an accident. We always obviously know of Marina. There are always improvements to be made. And in order to get to Vision Zero, in order to attain that goal, we'll have to do even more of the engineering, and that's why Public Works is here. We'll have to do it in concert with our county transportation leaders, our municipal leaders as well, just to make sure we've identified the right areas. But I do want to say that despite some of the recent tragic events that I'm sure we'll be talking about in a few minutes, I want to say that we have prevented more accidents from occurring by completing these 24 projects aggressively as we've done. And as we set timetables in the future, we'll try to not only meet those, we'll exceed those as well, because we're in a hurry to get to Vision Zero, and we are serious about it. That also means, let's remind everybody, during these months when it's raining, slow down. Certainly all around school places, you've got to slow down, because we are trying to bring the pace of automobiles and trucks and all the others to slow down all around our senior centers, as well as our school sites, so that we maintain a higher level of safety where we know there's a lot more vulnerability. With that, let me call to the mic a good partner in this effort, and one that from day one on our Vision Zero has been instrumental in making sure that we identified in one of the most congested areas of the city, and that's District 6, Supervisor Jane Kim.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I just want to thank the Mayor's office for his incredible commitment to Vision Zero, which is reducing all of our traffic fatalities here in San Francisco to 0 now in the next 9 years. And this announcement comes just in time for our last Vision Zero committee meeting in December, which I chair, where we will be adopting the next generation of our Vision Zero projects. As the Mayor mentioned, most of the 70% of the severe and fatal traffic injuries occur on just 12% of San Francisco streets. This means that this is absolutely an issue that we can make a difference in. It is solvable, and with targeted work on our highest injury corridors, we can reduce by over half our fatal injuries and our deaths here in San Francisco. We know that these deaths are 100% preventable, and we also know that more people are killed by cars than by guns in the city. So there is much work to be done, and I'm really proud of the efforts that have been taken by all of our city departments under the Mayor's leadership to make this a reality. I want to recognize SFMTA, who is here today, and also our County Transportation Authority for making sure that Vision Zero and pedestrian safety and bike safety is always one of our priority lens in any of the street projects that we have here in San Francisco. But as the mayor had said, during this time, particularly in the holidays, we do see an increase in traffic collisions throughout San Francisco. And I think that this is an important time for our residents, our workers, and our visitors to remember that it's important to go slow through our city. Speeding is the main cause of traffic deaths in San Francisco and also nationwide. And during the holidays, when we all want to spend time with our families and our closest friends, and we want to make sure that everyone comes home for dinner, it makes sense to take the time to drive a little bit slower, to cycle and walk a little bit slower, so that we can all enjoy each other's community here throughout the city. So again, congratulations to our city for completing all 24 projects as asked and as promised by the city to show our serious commitment to ending traffic fatalities here in San Francisco. And I look forward to moving forward the next generation of projects that will continue to make the city safer for everyone.
Thank you all for coming out this morning. My name is Ben Matrenga. I am the mayor's senior advisor on Vision Zero. I first want to acknowledge all of the folks behind me. One of the hallmarks of Mayor Lee's administration and his leadership has always been collaboration. And Vision Zero is an unprecedented mix of 14 different departments that have come together, that have committed to an extraordinarily bold and ambitious goal. And all of that work is not possible without that leadership. And I wanted to acknowledge those folks. First, we have Fawad Suisse from the city engineer from the Department of Public Works. We have Kathy DeLuca from Walk San Francisco, which is one of our great, strong community partners advocating for pedestrian safety and livable streets here in San Francisco. We have Cheryl Brinkman, Vice Chair of the San Francisco Metropolitan Transportation Agency. We have Tom McGuire, the Director of Sustainable Streets at the SFMTA. We also have Tilly Chang, the Executive Director of the County Transportation Authority here in San Francisco. We also have Tomas Aragon, the Health Officer here in the City and County of San Francisco. And Noah Budnick, a great partner and soon to be exiting, but hopefully he will stay close by, Executive Director of the San Francisco Bike Coalition. And last but certainly not least, Chief Greg Sir of the San Francisco Police Department. Their folks are out there every day. They're citing a lot of folks, so we really appreciate all the hard work that you've been doing. And with that, I want to invite to the microphone now from the SFMTA, the Vice Chair of the Board at the San Francisco MTA, Cheryl Brinkman.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you all for coming. I want to thank the mayor, the supervisors, and the heads of all the city departments for their focus on this issue, which is really fundamental to everyone in our city. This is about saving lives. This is making our streets more welcoming for everyone who lives in the city. Traffic collisions really extract a devastating emotional toll on everyone involved, the victim, the loved ones, and the person behind the wheel of the car. I have a coworker who unfortunately came across, right after it happened, the traffic crash in the marina. He and his wife were taking their 2 young children to daycare when they saw the aftermath of the 2 young boys who were hit. That made them feel less safe in our city. That made them worry for the future of their children in our city. So our core philosophy in Vision Zero is that traffic deaths are preventable and unacceptable. I am proud and humbled to work with everyone in the city on this project to reduce traffic deaths, to get rid of traffic deaths. We have to realize that traffic deaths are not like the weather. They're not unavoidable. Unlike the weather, we can do something about traffic deaths, and we can bring them down to 0 with the help of all the city agencies, all of our citizens. Out of our 24 priority projects, we have a 2-pronged approach, combining fast, cost-effective safety measures at specific intersections, while we also work on large construction projects on high-injury corridors. And what's next is those large projects on the major corridors. They are harder. There's a lot more engineering that needs to happen on these corridors. They take longer, and there are more trade-offs. We all have to be ready for those trade-offs as street users in San Francisco. But together, I know we're able to move on Vision Zero, and we can get there, and we can end traffic deaths. Thank you.